All right. Hi, Susan.
Hello, Lynn Rosen.
How are you? Is it okay if I sit here in the dark
Yes,
in the
yes.
attic?
I look like I'm a beaming light, angelic here.
And I'm the mad woman in the attic.
Yes.
So you and I have been talking for a really long time about doing this.
Yes.
This being talking.
Drinking and talk. Oh, yes.
Oh, drinking. I forgot my drink. Do you have a drink? I just have just
It's Lynn and Susan get lit, so
so we could pause and I could run downstairs and get the wine.
I did my homework.
And but I have my
Got the assignment.
Okay, so I'll just pretend I'm drinking. I'll act loopy anyway.
No, you are the woman in the attic, so
So here's the deal.
okay.
We're such terrific readers that we decided we needed to talk about what we're reading to each other and drink wine while we're doing it.
Well, I guess that's my part of the deal.
Yeah. Can you hold that? Can you hold up that end of it all by yourself tonight? It's all about the literary posing.
It's got a bike on it, so it's kind of athletic.
It's athletic drinking. In our neighborhood, we have a beer runners club.
And they run to the beer?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds excellent. Motivational.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
This is the wine bikers.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I'm in training to like wine, bike to all the vineyards in the south of France someday.
All right. So I'm really interested about what you're drinking, but I'm more interested to know what you're reading. Ta-da. You just happen to have it right there. That's so handy. That looks like Alexander Chee.
That is Alexander Chee, How to Write an Autobiographical Novel.
So can you explain this to me?
It is a collection of essays of his. There are a variety of different kinds. So some of the essays are about his living in San Francisco and being an AIDS activist. There are stories about him working in a bookstore. There are stories about him and his relationships. There's one whole essay about him having a rose garden, which is great, and I'm not even a gardener. But what I'm really drawn to, and I think is going to connect to what you're going to talk about when we talk about books, is he writes about his writing process, hence the title of the book.
I love books that write about the writing process.
So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking how it's interesting that we're both reading about people writing at this time. And it made me think of Mary Karr in her...
Everything makes you think of Mary Karr.
That's not true. Usually I think about Danny Shapiro. But Mary Karr in The Art of the Memoir, I think is her book about, but she says that she used to read fiction and then she started to read nonfiction and memoirs because she wanted it to be real, and she knew in reading the book that the person had survived whatever it was, right? So if they were writing about their horrible childhood, they'd obviously survived well enough to write about it. And I thought, are we interested in reading about people who survived the writing?
Yes.
Because we're in this place of isolation.
Yes.
And we have all this time and, apparent energy in which we could be writing. Are we writing? How do we survive writing during a pandemic? And I think that might be why we both tore through the different books that we're reading right now.
Yeah. I think you're right, because for me, this is Lily King, Writers and Lovers. And it's fiction, but the main character is Cassie is her name. Casey, sorry. She is writing a novel. She's been working on it for 6 years. She's 31 years old, so she's a youngster. But nonetheless, she is wondering if she's ever going to finish. So she's sort of in this existential crisis where she's asking herself, is this thing that I thought was the most meaningful thing I was doing in my life and have dedicated so much time to and have created a mess of my life in order to do this and gotten myself into debt and all kinds of other romantic escapades that she goes into. Like, was it worth it? Is it worth it? Is this novel going to get finished? Is this novel going to get published? And I needed to see what happened. I needed to see that journey that she
tell us.
I can't. You can guess, but I cannot tell you. But to see a writer writing about writing is fascinating to me. And maybe in the same way what you're saying, Mary Karr said, that she knows the person got to the end of it.
Yeah.
Never mind what happens to the character. I know that Lily King got to the end of it. Right?
Yes.
So whatever she was working through in the writing of this novel, she got through it because I'm holding the book in my hands.
Right.
All right. So what's going to obsess us next?
What's going to what?
Obsess us next.
I don't know. I got 3 books out of the library and then they shut the library down. So I have extra.
So you have lots of time to read them.
So I've already read one, which was the Long Live the Tribe of Fatherless Daughters by Kira Madden, which was very interesting, a memoir, nonfiction also.
Okay.
And it's in 3 sections. A lot of it is about her parents and their struggles with addiction and her being a child around them. And obviously about her relationship with her father. And other girls she befriended and got very close to who were also fatherless. So that was good. And then I have the Collected Schizophrenics.
Oh, and I've heard that's so good.
So that is Esmé Wang, I think.
Yep.
And that is also a memoir.
Okay. So you got a couple memoirs coming up.
And then I have Where the Crawdads Sing, which is a novel.
I just, I have this automatic like, oh, that's really popular. I can't read it because I have to be different. So you'll have to tell me after you read it if I should read it.
I started reading it and I put it aside probably to read Alexander Chee because I totally fell in love with this man. So I'll get back to it, but I've been talking to a few friends and they're like, oh, it takes a little while to get into it and then it's really good. So I'm going to go back and revisit it. I've been giving the same advice about Schitt's Creek. It takes a while to get into it, but you grow to love them. So
okay, but we won't do the TV thing.
We have time to be patient with things now.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
what do you got?
I'm reading. I figured I'd stick with Lily King, and I'd go back one to Euphoria, which is her previous book, which is so different. It's about anthropologists. I think I remember reading sort of based on the life of Margaret Mead, but don't quote me on that. But impressive to me how she is such a, some authors kind of live in the same world over and over again, which is great. Like Kent Harif, everything he wrote took place in the fictional town of Holt, Colorado. But Lily King is now in Papua New Guinea, which couldn't be more different than where she was in Writers and Lovers. And she's got a mastery of it, and it's great. And then, hold on, I'm going to get it. Then back to my Irish writers.
And Enright, I love her. That's the book I was talking about the other night.
It was?
The book where they were by the water drinking, and I thought, oh, my people. So
when it gets, after I finish this and it's time to talk about this, I will absolutely promise that I will show up with a glass of wine, okay?
Okay.
I mean, we can't talk about Irish writers without.
I want to read that. Is that an arc?
Yes.
Well, that's a little unfair.
Why?
Because you get to read it and I don't.
I'll save it for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
If you're really nice to me, maybe I'll even go to the post office and mail it to you. Wait, is that okay?
Yes.
All right.
Totally fine.
All right. Cheers.
And send me a thing of Guinness with it.
Here's to getting lit over and over again with you.
Yes.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.